Hey there, and welcome to Money Zone for Women, the podcast where it's not just about the money, it's about what money empowers you to do. I'm your host, Cami Zonin, and I created this show to help women feel confident, educated, and empowered by their finances. So whether you're working within a plan, starting to invest, or just learning how to keep more of what you earn, you are in the right place. So grab your coffee, get settled in, let's talk money, mindset, and making moves. This is Money Zone for Women, and we're just getting started. Hello, and welcome to Money Zone for Women. I'm Cami Zonin, your host, for a podcast where it's not just about the money, it's about how money can empower you to live the life that you love. Today, we're going to talk about empowerment through purpose-driven coaching. And I am so excited to introduce a woman who's all about helping her clients redefine success from the inside out. Ana Reyes Oots. Please forgive me if I did not get that last name
You got
right.
it right.
I'm terrible with it. Founder of TLC Lifestyle Coaching. Anna, gosh, I've known her a while now. She loved the way she empowers leaders and entrepreneurs to thrive, learn, and connect. And not just in their careers, but also in every area of life. She focuses on mindset, health, and intention because success isn't just checking off goals, ladies. It's about creating a life that feels whole and fulfilling. So whether you're building a business or raising a family or stepping into something new, Anna's wisdom will help you lead with confidence and live on purpose. That might be my favorite line, live on purpose. Anna,
Yeah.
welcome to the show. It's good to
Thank
have you.
you. I'm so excited to be here. I'm honored. I'm so excited because you're a rock star. So having me on is like, what?
You ladies
Super
helped get me
excited.
there. So thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to have you today. Gosh, I could probably fill a whole few hours just listening to you, but I did narrow it down to a few questions. And then, of course, I want you to fill in if there's something else important that you think we need to know. I think would be super helpful. So
Awesome.
let's start at the beginning. So tell me what inspired you to start TLC Lifestyle Coaching.
Super awesome. So I I always say that it's in my DNA to help people live good and feel good about themselves. And I was always very motivated, very driven by Maxwell and all his coaching. And I've always received that kind of coaching. I always felt that I needed that kind of stuff. I love what he stood for. And I would go to all his events and I always was there every year going, going, going. And I kept saying that I wanted to be a coach, but I never took the plunge, so to speak. And my fourth year into it, one of the gentlemen that's sort of like my coach, my mentor in there, he said, this is your fourth year saying that you're going to be a coach. And that just was oh, like I'm such a person of my word. And I said, you know what? You are right. I am talking about it and I'm not doing this. It's my time. So I told him that I wanted to come home and just sort of run it by my husband and my daughters and my mom, just everybody, my sister, and everybody kept
Sure,
saying,
your support team.
yeah, you're the perfect lifestyle coach. You're the perfect coach. You're relatable. And so I took the plunge. I took a whole year to study and do everything. And last August, I finished all my credentials and then I was on purpose. I felt like that is my purpose. It is what I wanted to always do is to help people, but have a platform where I can say, you know what, I'm going to help you live your best life. So that was my ultimate motivation. How many people can I help live their best life? I'm there for it. So
I love it. Challenge on. I love that you had somebody say, this is the fourth year. And you were like, oh, all right, you called me out. You got
you
me.
did.
All right. I love
You
that though. You
did.
know what though? I realize in life sometimes it does take somebody, it's accountability, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Accountability. So kind of embellishing a little on that. So let me ask you, so accountability and saying, all right, gosh, after 4 years I'm doing this. How do you stay grounded, right? Because as entrepreneurs, we're not always busy and sometimes it's really hard to stay grounded. So how do you stay grounded when maybe business isn't as busy as you want it to be, or you're going through maybe some personal challenges? What are some of the things you as a lifestyle coach, what do you do?
Yeah, you have to apply what you coach. So, every business goes through ups and downs, right? We all know that as business owners. And getting yourself motivated is probably the hardest thing. And I always say that you have to be your biggest cheerleader. I've been in several businesses where I've always been my own boss, right? And I say you have to cheerlead yourself every day, wake up and motivate yourself. And when things are not exactly where you want it to be, let's analyze why is that happening? Is it an internal situation? Then maybe you need to start working on yourself. And that's when I turn to myself and I start giving myself, like, I'm going to motivate myself harder to work harder, eat even better, make better choices, read more books, listen to more podcasts. Like and then just go into my whole self and say, okay, Anna, you're turning the tables now. Let's figure out why you're not where you want to be. Because now I'm not attracting the right people. Is that what's happening to me?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe it is just me. And maybe it not be me, but maybe the timing of it also has a lot to do with it. So I always tell people, when you're not feeling exactly where you're at, you're probably not living on your intentional self. You're not living in your purpose, and you're not living your best life. So there has to be a reason why. There's something that's off.
Yeah. Dig a little deeper to see what that is. And
Absolutely.
and I also think it's important, would you agree, to also know what that means for you if you're feeling a little off, like what feels on to you, success, right? What is your idea of success? And so I want to, we each have our own idea of what that
Right.
is. And so I want to ask you, how would you define success beyond the numbers, not the
That's awesome.
dollar sign numbers, right?
Yep.
Because that's where we can get ourselves so stuck and say, gosh, I'm not where I want to be financially. I'm not where I want to be. And I think a lot of us, I know me, I'm very guilty. And that's why I wanted to ask you this is I tend to do that. It's,
Yeah.
oh gosh, I want to reach this goal. And it's like, oh, a number goal, a number goal. So I want to, like, how do you define it? Or how do some of your clients define it beyond the numbers?
That's awesome. So I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. The goal is never going to end. There's a lifetime commitment. That's number one. Your goal is always going to be on. The minute that you stop one goal, you need to keep going, because if you stop, how hard is it? Like when you're racing and you finish the race and you stop, you're like, but if you kept going at your pace, that's the race, right? That's number one. Number two,
Mm.
I feel like even though you don't want to do the work, you have to be willing to do the work. The work is there. Success doesn't have a number. Success is an internal success. I want to help as many people. I want to leave a legacy in so many different areas of my life. I don't put a dollar sign on that. It's a level in your side. You're saying, I feel so good. You know when you're successful. And I always ask my clients, and this is one of the biggest questions. It comes from Maxwell. And I always ask my clients, or I tell them, there's two great days in your life: the day that you're born and the day you find out why.
Wow. Oh, that just gave me goosebumps. So I'm a fan
Exactly.
of Maxwell. So every time you say
Exactly.
that, I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
love
So
that.
you think about why you were born. That's fantastic. But why were you born, right? Like, what's your ultimate purpose? Success cannot have a dollar sign. It's great to make money. Obviously, we're all in it as to make a living and be comfortable and enjoy our life. But if in the
Sure.
interim we're helping so many people feel good about themselves, or you're financially giving them gaining success in that level and being financially free of debt, that's a win. For you, I know that's your win and that's how you are motivated. I'm
Yeah.
motivated when I see people winning in their life, like whether they need to lose weight or their confidence level is now they're thriving. I love seeing those kind of successes. So that for me is ultimate, ultimate. I love it.
And that's why I really love being part of the Bold Ladies because I feel like every single one of us, and not that I mean, that wasn't going to be part of the conversation,
I
but
know, but it has
it,
to be.
it has to be because it really has it really taught me and showed me actually was that, yeah, you know what? A big bunch of very smart, strong,
Yeah,
A-type personality women can get together and want to build each other up. And the fact that we each get to do it in our own personal way with our
yeah,
clients and then with each other as a group is amazing. And I can see that. I love how you get so excited when you talk about how you just make a difference in people's lives. It really does
yeah,
make a difference. I wanted to ask you, have you ever had anybody write their obituary? I had, and this was back in college, I want to tell
yeah,
you, and I thought it was the strangest thing, but the professor said, this is what you want people to say about you when you're
yeah,
no longer here.
yeah.
And if you could, I think now it's called a manifesto. I don't
Yes, we
think-
want to we want to stay with the times, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
I've not done that, but I've written myself a letter to my older self, and I wrote a check to myself of where I wanted to be in a certain amount of time. And I actually broke that check, which was great. So,
Great.
for you, that's a great tool to use with the money management. So you had to write yourself a check of what you thought your biggest check would be from a client or in the business that you're in. And I wrote that check out and I surpassed that amount of money. So
Oh, I love
yeah,
that. Oh,
yeah,
that
isn't
is
that
so
great?
great.
Yeah, yeah. I took a money management class. I'm working on myself all day long. I'm a work in progress.
I know.
Yeah. But writing yourself a letter to yourself, even mailing it to yourself, dated with the day that you want that letter to be submitted, allowing yourself to dream within that letter, that was pretty powerful. I thought that was really a great exercise.
I love that. I'm going to do that because it
Yeah,
really, yeah, a goal is just a thought in your
yeah.
head if you don't write it down
Exactly.
and
You
work
put it to
towards it.
play. I think it was Jim Carrey that wrote himself a check for doing a movie, and the check obviously came to fruition. The guy's like a
Yeah.
billionaire. So when he was broke, he wrote himself a check for X amount of dollars, and that is so powerful. Like I said, to put it to pen and paper, it really
Right.
is ultimate. Everything else is you're just dilly dallying, not really doing anything about it. But when you put it on paper, it becomes very real.
It sure does and makes a
Yeah,
difference. I
yeah,
love that. Okay, so I have probably two more questions, but one, this is a good one, I think. What advice would you give to women who want to turn their passion into a business or a career, but maybe feel stuck or scared, or maybe they feel like, gosh, that's not going to be enough. What advice? Because I know there's a few of us who have been down that
yeah,
path, and
yeah.
and so I just love to hear what's the advice you would give those ladies?
That's awesome. So even if it's not just a business, but where you are in your life and you are not feeling the passion about something, you want to open a craft store. Let's just, for all intents and purposes. So you need to talk and surround yourself with the right women. Like we have such a network. We talk about that all the time. Women that have done it already and say, you know what, I'm going to do this. Don't allow people that are not willing to follow through with you, like they're gonna be negatives. They're gonna be like, you're gonna do what? Like those people don't have the sense of urgency that you have. Do it with intention and say, you know what? I'm gonna surround myself with positive people. And you might need to extract some people in your life to get to the top. And that's okay. I tell them there are people that don't want to think big like you, and that's all right. Give yourself permission to surround yourself with winners. And you know who the winners are. You go in a room and you know who the winning people are, who's the winning team and who's going to be the losing team. They're just there. I always say, they have no sense of purpose. They have no sense of urgency, and that's okay. It's okay. I'm not saying it's a good or bad, but for you
Right.
to gain that kind of urgency to do something that you want big in your life, surround yourself, hire the right coaches, hire the right business people, hire the right mindset for people that will going to help you get there. And you might not have a lot of money, but you know what? There are people that will help you, mentor you just because they like you. Find
Hmm.
people that'll mentor you. Take them out for coffee and say, listen, I want to open this. What would be the best 3 tips you can give me? That's it. Take off from there and just keep going and be focused on what you want to do. And don't lose sight of it. It might take you a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, but don't lose focus. You're not in a race to get it done. You just want to get it done.
Right,
So
right. I like you added that, and if you don't have a lot of money, there are people that will mentor you. That's
absolutely.
really how I was fortunate enough early on in my career was I had a woman that I worked for who was willing to mentor me. And
Right.
but right, so don't let that scare you like, oh gosh, maybe right
Yeah.
now I can't afford these coaches. But I'm a fan of coaches. I feel like, I mean, I always use like Tiger Woods and athletes. They all have
I
coaches,
love that.
right? And
Love
like
it.
when I tell people I have a coach, they say to me, "Why do you have a coach? You are awesome." And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I'm not awesome, thank you, but it's because I have that
Yeah.
accountability, and it is a game changer. So I love that. I know I get to work in my passion, and as do you. So I want to
Yeah.
encourage women, and not just women, but people everywhere,
Yeah.
to do that, to be able to work in your passion. I just recently am reading this book, and it talks about how most Americans that are unhappy in their careers have a 73% more chance of dying of a heart attack or stroke than those of us that are happy in our careers, right? So it's not even
Exactly.
about diet, just diet anymore and
Yeah.
exercise. It's about our, our well-being and all. So Gosh, I love that. I love what you do. So quick, just maybe a little rapid fire. One book. I know there's probably so many that you
I
could
know,
recommend.
I
So
know.
other than yours, because
Yeah,
I'm gonna have you talk about that before we wrap up. But what's another book, a must read that you read, right? That you just feel like, gosh, I just
absolutely. I have the answer. I'm reading the second part of it, but it is how to make friends and influence people. And I love that one. And now I'm reading Think and Grow Rich. And I needed to just get on board with that. Andrew Carnegie was amazing. You know how to you need to learn how to work a room. It doesn't have to be like that, in a positive way, right? And I
yeah,
said, you know what? I need to reread this book, and I'm ready for it. And I have another one though, Becoming a Person of Influence by Maxwell.
I read
You know,
that.
you need to learn, and I always go back to my what I love because I always go back and circle back to it. I feel that if you can run in circles of people that you want to do business with, or you want to influence them, or them influence you, you need to know that's an art form. Not everybody has it, right? And we
Right.
can learn it. We can learn these things. And I did want to plug in before I forget. I wanted you to know that when I met you, I was in a different platform. I did your makeup, right? And
Yep.
I I was telling you what my future was, what I was planning on doing, and you told me I have a life coach. And then I did Stephanie Hines's, and she said I have a life coach and I'm a business coach. And then it almost felt like it solidified what I was doing. Because I said these women are super successful, yet they are plugged into coaches. So I knew that that's exactly what I wanted to do. And it entails so many different avenues of your life, but accountability is obviously the key to all of that.
I remember that actually. I do remember that. And
Yes,
you were like, gosh, this is the sign. That was such a fun day. Oh my
it
gosh. The
was.
glam squad came and we did photos
Yeah.
and we'll be doing that again for sure. Well, gosh, thank you for sharing all this really great insight. Like I said, I could go on all day
Yeah, I
and
love
listen to
it.
you. I love it. But before we go, I'd like for you to just tell our audience and our listeners where they can find you, how they can contact you. We'll also put
Yeah.
it we'll have it written out at the end and some
Yay.
slides for you.
So thank you so much again. So the most important thing is that I have a free assessment, and then you can do a 15-minute coaching with me because remember, everybody needs to know kind of where they need to tweak their life, whether it's mindset, confidence, health, and wellness. So you go to tlclifestylecoach.com, take the assessment immediately. It's going to take you to do that free coaching with me, and then we can talk about how can I help you live your best life. And then we can go from there. I love helping people. And sometimes, hey, it might not be a good fit, but I can give you some pointers and send you in the right direction. Maybe they need a different kind of coaching, or they need some other kind of therapy that I'm not qualified for. So then I can send them to the right person per se. So I think that that's super important too.
Yeah, it sure is. I love that. A quick little assessment to say, hey, are we a good
Yeah,
fit? And
yeah.
then, hey, here's where I can help you and all right. Because you're right, not everybody is a good fit. But I can't imagine you not being a good fit with anyone. You've
Well, we
really
try,
been
we try.
incredible. Of course, of course. We can't make everybody happy, right?
Right.
So I can't thank you enough again
Thank
for taking the time out of
you.
your day to be here and to share all this. So you know where to find Anna if you need her. Do the 15-minute assessment. How
Yeah,
many of those things do we get sucked into on our phones that we do in Insta and TikTok, right?
I
This is a
know.
much better use of your time, I promise. So check her out and you know where to find her if you need her. And I hope you all enjoyed today's show. And we'll see you next week for some more great tips for some more really smart entrepreneurs. Thanks so
Thank
much, Anna.
you.
Take
Bye.
care.